Jillian, and I'd like to talk to you about stay-at-home moms. Some moms struggle with the idea of leaving their kids to go to work, but for most of us, staying at home is not an option, and we shouldn't have to feel bad about it. Jamie Gertz couldn't have said it better when she said being a working mom is not easy. You have to be willing to screw up at every level. But isn't that true for all moms? I mean, don't we all try to do the best we can, only to realize that we should have done it different? Or should we? Maybe our best really isn't enough. With the way our economy is today, most of us have to work whether we're single moms or not. And I'm here to tell you that it's okay. We shouldn't have to feel bad about having a career and providing for our families. It's really not a bad thing for our kids to see us pursue our dreams and work for what we have. I've never had the opportunity to be a stay-at-home mom. In fact, I've worked 2 jobs for most of my oldest daughter's early years until I finally decided to give one up and go back to school. My kids, who are 21 and 5, watch me as I struggle with the juggling act of school, work, and family, and I believe it's taught them a little bit something about a thing called life. No matter what avenue you choose, there will always be someone to criticize you, and more often than not, you're your own worst critic. So many times I've been jealous of friends and family who were able to stay at home with their kids. They got to see every milestone between all the school events and extracurricular activities. They got to spend all their time with their kids, go on lunch dates, play dates, and they were part of that circle that I just didn't have time for. It just wasn't fair. But as the old saying goes, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. Every now and then I get that little aha moment, and I realize that me and my kids aren't doing so bad after all. There's an upside and a downside to every situation, and as long as our kids are happy, healthy, and have aspirations for the future, we're doing something right. If you're a working mom, I want to take the next few minutes to persuade you to stop being so hard on yourself. We all make sacrifices, whether we're at home with our kids or not. For starters, let me just say that the circle of moms that I was so envious of isn't near as big as I had pictured it in my head. In reality, I'm part of a much bigger circle. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, 70.5% of all mothers were either employed or looking for work in 2012. And the numbers don't change much for those who are married. 68.3% of married mothers were also working. Shockingly, these mothers have actually dropped since 2000. Although mothers with younger children are less likely to work, the numbers are still high. In 2012, 64.8% of working mothers had children under age 6 and 57% had infants. Given the number of working mothers in today's society, I think it's safe to say that the idea that a mother's only job is to stay at home and tend to the kids is played out. Most any mom today will tell you that being a good mom has little to do with whether or not you work. It has a lot more to do with the way you parent, starting with your own sense of self-well-being. According to studies at the University of Michigan, research found that employed mothers indicated a higher level of well-being than full-time homemakers, and this in turn affects their parenting in positive ways. For working-class women, studies show that the satisfactions from employment are not from the job per se, but from the increased social support and stimulation provided by co-workers and the marked advantages that their wages bring to their families and the greater sense of control that they feel over their lives. These studies also suggest that employed moms who have a positive sense of well-being are more likely to have more frequent positive and educational interactions with their kids, as well as higher expectations for their education. And it just so happens that kids who go on to daycare and preschool actually benefit from it. My niece, who never attended daycare or preschool, started kindergarten this year, and she struggled to keep up, and her teacher suggested after-school tutoring and suggested that she be held back if she couldn't catch up. Research shows that kids who participate in quality pre-K programs are more likely to graduate from high school, perform better on standardized tests, less likely to repeat a grade, and less likely to require special education services. This is why in 1984 the Texas legislature passed the House Bill 72, which established the Texas Free Kindergarten Program. This program is available at both public and private schools and daycares, and according to Dr. Phil, children who are in quality daycare have increases in cognitive skills, intellect, social skills, and social comfort. And another benefit to being a working mom is your rarity in the workforce. A lot of stay-at-home moms struggle to find work after their kids are grown. They find themselves competing for positions with those of us who never took off. They don't have the education or the experience necessary to find a decent job, and most end up going back to school or taking entry-level positions. A friend of mine who had been a stay-at-home mom for 20 plus years decided she wanted to go back to school after her daughters graduated. After looking for nearly a year, she ended up taking a CSR job at Kohl's making minimum wage. She had focused her entire adult life on raising her kids, and when they moved on, they took her whole world with them. I'm not saying that either way is right or wrong. I'm just saying that you have to do what you have to do and make it work for you. And do whatever brings you the most happiness for today and tomorrow. As a mother of a college graduate and one that's about to start kindergarten, all I can say is I don't regret working or going to school or teaching my kids that they can do whatever they set their mind to. Sure, we miss out on some things, but we somehow find balance in it all. We still go to school events and soccer games and find time for all the fun stuff. We're a perfectly well-rounded working family who has just enough dysfunction to make it in this crazy world. So, if you're wondering if you'd be better off staying at home with kids, like I sometimes do when things get hectic, just stop for a minute and give yourself a pat on the back, because you're probably doing much better than you think you are.